Welcome back to Nerds R Us, where anyone can be a kid. I'm Tyler, and I'm joined by my usual co-host, Mr. Ike Siemens.
Oh shit, what up, fam?
Oh shit, what's up? And we just barely got back from seeing the movie of the freaking December Christmas season, one that's gonna hold hard and be watched every single Christmas season by everybody. I'm talking mother flippin' Aquaman. Ike, what are your thoughts?
Dude, that movie kicked ass. Like, that was by far the best DC movie of all time. Period. Like, ever.
No, it was good. I did not have a single problem with it. I thought, and at first I was like, Jason Momoa is Aquaman. Like, yeah, he's a badass, but he looks nothing like Aquaman. But he killed it character-wise. He definitely embodied the classic fucking Arthur of like, I'm gonna beat your ass, but like, I'm also the king type situation. Like, hella pride, but also like, still Earth. So what's up? Like, still fucking land all day. Eat my dick.
Yeah, he had the humility and the haughtiness of a king for sure. Like,
one thing I can say that I liked about the movie that DC always fails to do, that I always thought Marvel did a good job of doing, is mixing like good comedy with the action of a superhero movie. And I would say Aquaman was the first one to do that.
to pull it off efficiently.
Yeah, well, not even
shit.
none of the other ones even like tried to pull it off. Like there was like very little effort towards like comedy. They always tried to do, I mean, Man of Steel, fucking the fucking all the Batmans, pretty much, except for maybe the one with fucking Danny DeVito, but
Right.
all the Batmans, fucking Man of Steel, Justice League, they all tried to be too fucking dark and brooding, and then Aquaman was like, haha, like we're a superhero movie, haha, this is hilarious, like there's some jokes and some awesome battle scenes. Dude, I would say like probably the best actor in the movie was the guy who played fucking Orm. I fucking love that guy.
What is his name?
I
always
fucking
forget
don't
his
know, but he's in a
fucking
ton
name.
of stuff. He's in The Conjuring. He plays the Warrens in The Conjuring and in Annabelle and all those movies. Yeah, I've always liked that guy as an actor, even though I can never remember his name. But dude, he killed it in that role
Dude,
of
he
playing
fucking
like
crushed it.
the jealous younger brother situation,
No shit.
where it's like, this is the way we do things in Atlantis, and it's always been this way, and blah 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 blah.
And
Like,
they pulled it off, like, blaming Arthur for the loss of his mother and all that stuff. And yeah, they did. Dude, and then the Easter eggs, man. Fuck, man.
oh, dude,
Dude.
Easter eggs out the assy. Plus, let's not even forget the fact that they got all the suits like spot on.
100% correct.
Yeah, dude.
Dude.
I mean, they got the Aqua, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be hard to pull off that classic Aquaman suit in a non-cheesy way. But they gave him like the fucking like the gloves. They weren't just like gloves. They like came off his arm. They were
Gauntlets,
more like
yeah.
gauntlets and shit like that. And it wasn't like, it was like a metal chest plate instead of like woven ass fucking string cheese.
Well, yeah, they did the fish scale was more like dragon scale,
Yeah.
scale armor, rather than like just some bitch made fish scale shit. That's thin as
Yeah,
fuck.
that's yeah, exactly.
I mean, everybody else had their like, even his mom had their like fish scaley type,
Armor.
armory, but like movable suit, and his was like fucking heavy duty ass shit. Like,
Yeah.
come fuck with this shit.
Like you're gonna fight the Kraken, so be prepared to have a sick ass suit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, dude.
So what do you think about like the journey he had to take though to like get the actual, the trident of the
real
king?
trident.
Yeah.
Dude.
I thought it was good. I did feel that they maybe could have dragged it out a little bit more and made it seem a little more of a harrowing journey, because he did kind of. They were just like, all right, we gotta go to this location. Okay, we found this part. Now we gotta go to this location.
Yeah, they
And we found this part. They definitely
They
like
cutscened hard.
they cutscened hard, and it seemed like they were really pushing to accomplish to get towards the big battle, which I understand like from a movie making standpoint why they did that. There could have been more to that story, I would say.
Yeah, and that's kind of where it's hard, because to accurately display enough of an epic battle and a journey and all that stuff all in a 2.5 hour time span, they for that storyline, as jam packed with this, full of stuff, they really kind of hit the essentials and made it, more fandom based for DC fans. They went with what the DC fans, like the old school DC fans, wanted. They gave us what we wanted. Finally, they fucking did it. They did what they have never done before.
4, 5 movies.
One small step for DC, one giant leap for mankind.
Yeah, right. True fucking story.
Fucking Christ.
So, who do you think was the weakest character in the whole movie?
Man, the weakest character, like out of the main characters.
I would just say it. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like the side characters. Yeah, like like take them or leave them.
I would say, probably Dolph Lundgren's character.
Yeah.
As King. He wasn't. I mean, minus that first introductory scene, he wasn't really exuded as much of a king.
Well, yeah, and then also it seemed like I was kind of like, oh, like, is he gonna do something? Like, because he was kind of like, oh, like, and then he was like, he didn't really do much, and then he's like, okay, yeah, the surface dwellers are clearly after us, like, we should team up, and then fucking Mirda was like, oh, like, you think this is convenient? And he was like, you don't think I know, like, they're, like, he wasn't following me? Like, I want this war, too. And I was like, oh, it's kind of a weak character arc, like, probably could have just combined forces in the first place, but whatever.
Yeah, and then they, like, with the King of the Fishermen, I mean, that was...
Yeah, I was expecting a lot more.
And that was, like, a 0.5 second fucking... like interaction. I mean, they show up and they're like, hey, you should join our forces to
then
fuck
he's like,
shit
no,
up. And he's
and
like,
then
no, we're trying to help the humans and blah blah blah. We should only be interacting with them if we're trying to help them advance and blah blah blah. And he's like, stab you in the fucking face. And then the fucking the Dolph Lundgren's character finally like steps up a little bit and does some shit and takes out like his main royal guard, which was kind of cool. But like even in all the other battle scenes, Dolph Lundgren was weak as fuck. Like he didn't really do much. And then they just kind of cutscened a lot, and it was they could have done better if they had brought it all to conference. Like if they had done a conference of the kings rather than just those two in the initial part,
going around and like foot forcing people out and shit like that.
If they had really if they had kind of fucking combined all of those situations into one situation. I get the last scene, going for the crustacean
final kingdom.
Yeah, the crustacean kingdom.
Dude, I'm just gonna go on book and say it though. I fucking loved the crustaceans, dude. Those guys were cracking me up. I was like, oh my god. It made me immediately think of the South Park episode, Crab People, Crab People.
Yeah. I was thinking about this.
Yeah, immediately.
The
and
whole
they kind of gave them like Scottish accents, it almost seemed like, or some type of like very like raggedy European accent and shit.
You can take my
army,
but you can never take, or I will never succeed my
or I'll never give you my allegiance.
Yeah, I'll never succeed my allegiance. It was like, oh my god. just paint his face blue and put him on a horse.
Yeah, right.
Let's be realistic here.
That's you can take our land, but you can never take our seafood.
You can never take our crusties.
Our crusties. Yeah. Well, dude, when freaking Jason Momoa popped up with, which was clearly the Kraken, obviously.
Yeah.
When he popped up with the Kraken during that fight scene, at first I just thought it was a big crab. I was like, oh, they're breaking out their secret weapon. If it's like fucking fuck him up, I was like, yeah, fuck him up, dude.
No, I knew exactly what it was as soon as the land started breaking and I saw a giant tentacle. I was like,
yeah.
oh,
I was kind of hoping though.
Yeah, I mean that'd be cool, but like at the same time, they were all the crustaceans were also surprised, so I was like immediately knew. I was just like, yeah, well they're getting fucked up too, so obviously this wasn't their intent, which means Aquaman's coming through.
Yep.
So that's cool.
Yeah, and I also will say this: I thought they did a good job of doing his ability to speak to the sea creatures in a non-cheesy way,
Dude,
which I
no
thought was going to be
shit.
really hard to pull off because it is a very weird concept, and like the boop 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 like radar thing does not come off well, but they did it in like a way where
It wasn't overdone.
it wasn't. Yeah, they didn't overuse it. He used it like the big fight scene. He used it for like to to hide in the whale's mouth.
Yeah.
And then the part where he's a kid. But yeah, they didn't use it like all the time, which I thought was nice.
Yeah, they didn't spam it, which was cool. And then it wasn't like a super like heavy,
It wasn't what made the
wasn't
fight.
super loud, and it wasn't like obnoxiously like in the forefront of everybody's mind because it was like so fucking in your face with like vibrancy and shit. It was just kind of like a water pulse
Yeah.
and one or two came out, and that was fucking it. They made it super short and sweet and to the point, and it's like, yeah, okay, cool. Sound travels through water. I mean, they're closely knit molecules, so like it would travel pretty fucking far if if you have the right frequency and shit, you can get your message across. So it was really well done, I feel like, in that sense, too, which was nice. So
Yeah.
DC stepping their game up.
Yeah.
Fucking genuinely
I'm not mad
impressed.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. It's definitely not the best comic book movie I've ever seen, because I still got to give it to Marvel on the comic book movies.
No,
But
I
it's a
mean,
definite step in the right direction, I would say.
exactly. It's leaps and bounds ahead of where DC has been continuously previously. Fucking leaps and bounds. I mean, just with getting the fucking armor correct and the suits correct. Like, thank you, Jesus. They finally fucking pulled their heads out of their asses enough to do that small justice for the fucking people. And that made all the difference in the world for me. I was like, oh god, I can sit and watch this movie without wanting to
Without fucking judging the shit
throw a
out of it.
Molotov cocktail through the screen right now. Like, fucking Christ.
So what were your thoughts on Black Manta?
Dude, Black Manta fucking killed it. I loved that shit. They did such
Yeah.
an excellent job.
I've never seen that guy. I can't think of anything else I've seen that guy
I've
in.
never seen his face before in my life. That was weird as shit. I was like, dude, he's like a mix between like 50 Cent and Denzel Washington.
I thought his dad was Denzel Washington at first. I was like, oh, is Denzel Washington Black Manta? Because I'm like, yeah, young fucking Denzel Washington could totally play Black Manta. And they were like, we found a young Denzel Washington. And I was like, all right, cool.
Fair enough.
I thought he looked like, for a split second, I thought it was the guy who played Fenn from Force Awakens and stuff.
Oh, okay,
I thought it was him for a second.
Kind of
'cause I was-
square jawed.
Yeah,
stuff.
square
So,
jaw
yeah, I
and
can
stuff like
see
that. I was like,
yeah.
is that Finn? I was like, he's too much of a bitch to play this role. Like, don't let it be him. And then it wasn't, which was nice.
Yeah.
Although I did like the kind of nod they made to like fucking the Justice Friends show, where fucking they were like made Black Manta, and he like made the small helmet, and it like the laser tore apart the helmet. He's like, I need a bigger helmet.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, okay. Because at first I was like, are they gonna go with the classic small ass bitch ass helmet?
Yeah.
I was like, if they do, like fucking balls to the wall, like do it, like send it. I wouldn't have been mad. Like, even if they had done it through the whole movie and then had it break and then had him make the bigger helmet, I would have been like, cool.
Yeah.
I would have been more than happy with the small helmet.
Yeah. Well, I feel like they did a really good job with that, too, in the sense of like, when he got the suit and it was white, I was like, oh man, that's fucking lame. I thought it was gonna actually be like
Black Manta.
Black Manta, But then he tore it all apart and completely customized it and shit.
Yeah,
I feel like that was a necessary step out of the main storyline to kind of throw in some fucking fanfare on that one. I feel like that was necessary for me to be like, cool. Like, I appreciate what you're doing here, DC. So that was nice for me, at least.
Yeah.
Personal preference on that. I was surprised. It was a pleasant surprise for sure.
Was a pleasant surprise, yeah. I also like the guy who played his dad.
Oh yeah.
You ever notice how like every like superhero movie, there's always like just one regular guy who can drink a fuck ton?
Yeah.
Like all the time, in every superhero movie, there's always just like one guy who can outdrink any superhero, and I'm like, well, that guy's got the same superpower as me. Drinking,
Right.
drinking way too much.
Cheers to that, buddy. I'm cheersing you with the snuck
I also like
beer
the scene
there.
when they're in the fucking bar, and this guy's like, "Hey, are you that fucking fish guy?" And
Bumps
he's like,
into him, spills his beer and shit. Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, I just got one thing to say to you. Can we get a
Pulls
picture?"
out
Yeah,
a
it's got
pink
bitch ass phone.
case. Oh man, are you that fish? Are you that fish guy on the fucking TV? And he's like, fish man, but yeah.
Yeah, fish man, but yeah. No, I think
Oh.
Jason Momoa was, even though he doesn't look anything like classic Aquaman, I thought he was good. And I don't know if you noticed, but in the old school Aquaman comics, I saw a post about this, and then it reminded me of it. They pointed out that like Arthur was like considered like an outcast because he had blonde hair, and all of the like fucking like most of the Atlanteans had like black hair.
Yeah.
And so they gave fucking Orm the classic fucking Aquaman blonde hair because Jason Momoa, obviously not fucking blonde, which I'm so glad they didn't make him blonde because I was like, oh, you cannot pull that off.
Well, that's the thing is they put highlights in his hair, which was cool. It was like, all right, here's kind of a shout out to it without being like obscene with it. It kind of still matched his hairstyle, you know, and it just worked well. So it wasn't like overly done by any means or anything like that, which was nice. But yeah, I mean, as far as the, you know, classic Arthur Curry, fucking blonde hair, blue eye, fucking, or blonde hair, green eye, you know, super, super pasty white dude, you know, California beach bum, surfer dude. That was a huge step out into the wilderness with the coast of Maine and all that.
Yeah,
kinda
with the
stuff.
Costa, yeah.
I noticed that was like one of my first things was like, shout out to the fam back in Maine. Like,
I know it. Yeah.
Oh shit! But they do have like some of the like biggest, most beautiful light towers and stuff out there, and you know they definitely are the most used for sure for this, you know,
For nowadays.
this country, you know,
Yeah.
exactly. But yeah, so that was pretty cool. Like they made that a little bit more realistic.
One thing I didn't understand is when his dad found his mom, like, okay, so she was washed ashore, right?
Yeah.
But then he gives her like CPR and she like spits up a bunch of water, and I was like, wouldn't that water help her breathe?
Well, it was just like Orm when Mara
Yeah,
fucking
that-
slammed him down and shit, and he just like barfs up a bunch of fucking water and shit because he's in air, you know, he's in an oxygen-rich environment now, and he has the capability. Well, if you notice, they kind of shouted out to the OG Atlantean king with that whole thing of, you know, only elites, only the social elites, because they had royal blood, had the ability to breathe on land and in water. So with that, you know, anytime anybody, you know, of the elite came out of the water or whatever, they were, you know, not puking up fucking water, but I mean they were expelling water and stuff because they don't have gills, so it's not like they're passing it through and filtrating it and, you know, all that stuff. So
Yeah, I guess that's true.
you know, I feel like, you know, magic and shit, you know, I feel like it was pretty logical to expel the water back out in some form or fashion.
Makes sense. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah. Although, another thing I didn't like about the movie, I did not like the armor of the Atlantean soldiers. I thought it looked a little too robot-y almost.
Gaudy and robot-y.
Yeah, I was like, maybe tone it down a little bit. Because, like, Orm's armor was, like, classic, like, oh, I'm a king, I have, like, a very knight-looking armor.
Mm-hmm.
And then a couple of them had that same type of armor, but, like, all, like, these are my best warrior guys had, like, robot armor. And I was
Overdone
like,
robot
it was
armor.
overdone. And it was like, these guys are all red because they're the elite. And then these guys are all white because they're the royal guard.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Well, and the thing is like, you got to think about it in the sense of being kind of true to their technologically advanced society
I
and
get
stuff.
it. It's not that their armor was more powerful. it just didn't look good. Was my thing. Aesthetically, it was not appealing.
Well, the masks, so their helmets.
The mask made sense. It's more like the bulkiness of it, and like the fact that they always had like a noise going on anytime they did anything, and I was like, okay, you're powering up, but I feel like you could have signified it in a less like, this is a robot armor, strong. We are strong because we have this robot armor way. If they had toned down the armor and done the same exact thing, I think it would have been better.
Well, the thing is like the other thing is like that I'll counter that point with is that none of them were of royal descent, so they couldn't breathe on land.
Yeah, but it's like I said, it's not the principle of the armor itself. The principle of the armor itself is sound. It's just the look of the armor.
Yeah.
The armor.
No, I feel you. Like, and that's the thing is like, you know, they did do a classic shout out to classic Aquaman Atlantean armor with the helmets. The helmets were very, you know, old school Atlantean armor-esque. The rest of the armor was bulky and completely body covering versus like the, you know, more knightly armor of the Royal Guard in like in Atlantis from like the comic books and stuff for sure, because I feel like they just did that to kind of help tie into, you know, the whole you know, advanced society thing though, really. But the other thing is like where they kind of tie that in the comic books and stuff is magic, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like you could do like a bubble mask, you know, that has a filtration system through water, you know, and then use the classic armor. So I do feel what you mean. Like the robotiness was a little bit excessive. A little bit what's the director from Michael Bay? A little bit Michael Bay-esque.
Yeah.
You know, for sure.
Yeah.
I caught Michael Bay vibes off that.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. I was like, there's a lot
overdone,
there's
too
a lot
robotic,
of
too
explosions going on. Yeah, I will say that. Although one thing I did appreciate, it was a very small thing, but they got the inside of the whale's mouth like spot on. Like, yeah. I was like, oh, they got the bristle fucking teeth.
The comb teeth.
They got the fucking not the krill, like I don't think it's bacteria, but there's something that's like a symbiotic relationship that cleans the teeth.
Yeah.
And then simultaneously also like helps them eat, but then also helps the whale
digest.
That was in
stuff,
there
yeah.
and shit like that, and I was like, oh, okay, like way to pay attention to that detail.
That bacterial fungi stuff.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, like cool, like
yeah, it was well done. I like the shout out to the Pinocchio thing.
Yeah, the double Pinocchio shout out.
Exactly. The secondary shout out was even fucking funnier. He's like, "It's a book."
Yeah,
I got that from the movie.
Yeah, story of my fucking life.
I was about to say that's anybody from like mid to late '90s life on,
right.
You know, like
on
everybody.
Anything.
Yeah, everybody gets it from the movie and stuff rather than, you know, the books and all that shit. We grew up in a completely different era than, you know, old school people, and so they even had that shout out from like Atlantean to, you know, to modern day society, and I was like, that's comical.
Yeah. So overall, I mean, if you were to rate it, if you were to give it like 1 to 10, what would you give it? I'll give it an 8.
I was about to say, yeah, definitely a solid fucking 8.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't perfect. It had flaws.
Exactly.
It had flaws.
But I mean, compared, if we're going off of a DC based rating,
DC, it's like the 10.
It'd be like 20 out of 10.
Yeah.
You know, fucking mobbed over everything.
A polished
so
turd, you know, a bunch of non-polished turds. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. But I would say overall, purely entertainment-wise, purely comic book fan-wise, I did really enjoy the movie. I really enjoyed all the casting. I really enjoyed Willem Dafoe as the classic Merlin character.
Yeah.
I loved I loved everything about it. So I just enjoyed it just from pure entertainment standpoint. Yeah, I would definitely give it a pure 8 out of 10. From story standpoint, I'd drop it down like a 6.5.
Yeah.
Just because even though they got the Aquaman story very accurate, it is a very common story of regaining your throne. I mean, it's the classic Arthur story. It's the fucking name.
Yeah.
It's his name being Arthur. I mean, I will. It's a story. Yeah, exactly. It's the same reason I don't enjoy fucking Robin Hood movies. You know. Yeah. So that I would say story wise 6.5. Comedy wise, I'll put it up to an 8. Comedy wise, entertainment wise, I'd put it up to an 8. Fight scene, I'd put it up to an 8. I wouldn't say 9 or 10 for it though. Definitely like 8s all across the board except for story.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, overall rating for sure like a 7.5, 8.
Yeah, it'd probably bounce out to like a 7 probably.
Yeah, it rocked. It rocked in the sense of DC movies.
It definitely gave me hope for the future. Exactly. I will say that.
I've had no hope until I saw the trailers for that, and I was like, all right, this is the last time I'm giving you a chance, DC. Like, do something with my hopes and dreams, but dash them, please. I'm giving you my hopes and dreams for the final time. Do not stab me for it.
Yeah, right. All right, guys. Well, you heard it here. That's a 7 out of 10 for Aquaman on the Nerds R Us scale. And we're pretty fucking harsh critics when it comes to comic book movies, so 7's pretty fucking good, I feel. But if you haven't seen it, definitely come out today. Get out there, get in theaters. Let us know what you think about us in the comment sections. Let us know what you think about the movie in the comment section. And also check out our other episodes on other comic book movies and anime and all your favorite stuff at nerdsrus.com. That's NRDRUS.com or NRDSRUS.com if I can fucking spell. Second time's a charm. You can also find us on our YouTube page, same name, if I can fucking talk today. That's NRDSRUS. Got it right that time. And also feel free to go ahead and support us on our Patreon page. That's patreon.com/nerdsrus. And for just $2, get a shout out monthly on our podcast, and we'd sure appreciate it. And I'm sure you'd like to see your name on a YouTube video that wasn't a diss video, so that'd be pretty cool. But in the meantime, guys, have a great Christmas. Get out there, see Aquaman, and thanks so much for listening.